Hello everyone, welcome to Run TV Social. So today we are going to have a conversation about Ansible. First of all, in my previous videos we had a conversation about most of the AWS services and Jenkins and GitHub, and also we had a conversation about how to restore instances from snapshots and everything, right? So today what we are going to have today is we are going to discuss one configuration management tool, and we'll have a discussion about Ansible today. Okay, so what we will do today is we will discuss what is Ansible, and we'll discuss how to automate to provision an EC2 instance using Ansible. So that's what we are gonna do today. Okay, so let's have a conversation like what is Ansible and why most of the companies uses Ansible for configuration infrastructure automation or configuration management. So for example, let's say I have a multiple systems, right? For example, so this is my AWS, right? For example, AWS or GCP or Azure, and I can give you a very simple example. Let's say I have 100 systems that I need to update the tags, right? So what I can do is I can write a simple Ansible script, and I can update the tag inside a script, and I will run that script, and the script is going to get the instance details, making an API call, and get all the instances and replace the tag whatever the tags needs to be replaced. That's one small thing, like one small example. But how Ansible work is, so the Ansible by default, most of the AWS services, all of the AWS services, Ansible runs on local host until you specify a specific host. Okay, so how Ansible works is you don't need to, configure any agent between the, this is a controller between the controller and the nodes. Let's say I have 100 systems right here, right, and I can call them as the nodes. Okay, and I can call this Ansible where I'm running the script is a controller, Ansible controller. I have Ansible installed on this controller. Okay, I don't have to install Ansible on these systems, but the Python is a prerequisite. So the Python should be installed in this Ansible. And let's say if you want to use any raw command, and that doesn't need to be any Python, so you don't need to install Python as well. You should use simple Ansible raw module. Okay. So how it works is it will try to connect to that. It will try to make that API call using port 22, like a SSH API call. Ansible by default, Ansible uses SSH port to connect to the systems, and using port 22. Okay, port 22. So obviously, if you want to make an API call, right, you need to authenticate, right? You will definitely need access key and secret key. How we are going to get access key and secret key? From IAM, right? And I can call IAM user, and I can provide access key and the secret key inside that Ansible script, and I can run the Ansible script, and which will update the tags and everything. But what we will do today is we'll write a simple Ansible script to create an instance. We did create an instance manually in my previous videos, but in this video we will have an Ansible script to automate, automate like a EC2 provision. And why we need automation scripts to provision systems, right? Let's say if you want to test your application into multiple environments, and you want them to be identical, right? If you use the same script for multiple environments, it should be an identical environment, right? And let's say if you are using a blue green deployments and you want to build whole systems uh, on the fly, right? You're building systems, then you're deploying the microservices on top of the systems. So this is like, accelerating your provisioning infrastructure process. And let's say if you want to build your disaster recovery environment, right? So that kind of things, the environment should be very identical. And if you provision your environment using automation script, and you are going to use the same automation script to provision identical environment, it should be an identical environment, other than the variables, maybe region and whatever the variables like a user input. Okay, so what we will do today is we'll create an Iem user, and we will provision like access key and we will provide access key and secret key inside a small Ansible playbook, and we will run the script to create an EC2 instance. Okay, now let's go back to AWS. Okay, let me log into my AWS. I will log in as a root user. Hopefully I will provide the right captcha. So let's go to IAM dashboard. We'll create an IAM user. And I can call, since I'm trying to provision an EC2 instance, I can give EC2 full permissions to this particular user, so that he can read and write to that instance. Like he can create instances, he can stop, he can terminate them, things like that. Okay, and I can call Ansible user, and I can provide programmatic access, and I can provide console access as well. So I will provide just a small password. I don't need this user to reset his password. So just, and I have this is a group already, easy to group with Amazon easy to full access. I'm going to use the same group. I don't need any tags. This is just for identification purpose, and I can create a user. Okay, so the user will be created. Okay, okay, let me download that credentials. Now what I will do is I will follow this document, so that if you guys try to get some hands on, and you can follow this document as well. And I can include this document in the description as well. I can include this link in the description as well, so that you can go there and you will explore how it works. Okay, so what I will do is I'll just simply copy this small human readable YAML file. So Ansible script should be in a YAML format. YAML file. It is a YAML file, like Python.py, like a Java, like that. Ansible is a .yml YAML file. Okay. And what I will do is I can copy this, and I can add access key, secret key, and I'll run the script, and I will see. Okay. Now let's go to our terminal. Let me clear my screen, and I can create a brand new file. EC2 EC2 project, not YAML, something like that. Okay. So the YAML file starts with three icons on the top. Okay. Then you could start from here, but for the indentation, right, I would use one space and a hyphen again. So we need to provide the hosts. You can configure your hosts on your ansible.cfg or in your host file, and you can run the playbook against that host file. But here I don't have anything, so by default it can be localhost. Most of the Ansible AWS Ansible operations. So then I will need to provide the vals. Let's say that this particular playbook has some variables, right? For example, region. I can call region as a variable. So ES is to 2, something like that. ES is to 2 is a region. And let's say I can interpret the Python as well. Ansible, Python, interpreter, and slash user bin user local bin Python, something like that. Next, I can write tasks. You see that? So you're not supposed to use tab in YAML, but you see that? So these tasks should be under the host, okay? So I can create a simple first task. I can just name the task provision and EC2 instance. And what I will do is I can copy from there and we'll modify the script. Let's copy from here. The indentation should be upper way. So these are the sub parameters for the EC2 model. So the sub parameter should be inside your EC2 module. Okay. And this is the number of instances, that is subnet ID. I'm just trying to see. You see that? So this is completely, you're not supposed to use tab in YAML syntax, okay? It's gonna get you the syntax error. So what I will do is I'll just replace my variables. Baseline, baseline key, right? That's the keyword that I've been using for EC2 provision. And AMI, I'll just use the default AMI from Ansible documentation. And let's go here. Go to EC2 dashboard. Just, I'll just get the Amazon Linux from here and I'll just use Amazon Linux. Excuse me. So just copy this AMI. Just it here. Wait, yes. I don't have any group like instance, like a target group, and I'll just use only one. Okay. And I'll replace the subnet ID. I'll just replace the subnet ID. Go to subnet. So that will take us to VPC dashboard and we'll just get the subnet from there. Okay. It's pretty easy. You could learn like Ansible or any other configuration tool overnight. So all you need to do is just how to put the components together. Everything is there. So just any of them is fine. I don't have any specific subnet. I can use any of them. And now the job is gonna fail. We want the job should be failed. You know why? Because the command to run a playbook is Ansible iPhone playbook and a playbook name. That's it. Okay, and we will see. Failed modules, Ansible.legacy, set up failed modules. So this is complaining about this Python location. So what we can do is, this is the Ansible Python interpreter that I used. This is something problem with my personal computer. So I have some issue installing Python in this computer. So it could take some time to fix that issue. What I would do is, I would just simply replace this Ansible underscore Python underscore interpreter user local bin Python. Okay, go here EC2 underscore project. Let's just just correct this path in local Python. Let's run this playbook again. Still the playbook should fail. Oh, the problem with the USR. This is just a typo. So you run the playbook again. This is how you should troubleshoot. I was right earlier. It was just a typo. So the reason I'm troubleshooting in this specific video is I want you to guys understand how you should troubleshoot when you get issues, right? So the job is failed. You know why the job is failed? So if you look at that error, right? False. Either region or EC2 URL must be specified. So we need to specify the region. Okay, where we should specify the region where you are launching your instance. Okay, so what I will do is I just simply specify the region. Okay, how I can specify the region is I'll just add a variable and I'll call this variable as a region. If you look at the top right, you see that the this is where the the value is coming for this region. Okay, and run it. Now, what is the issue? AWS was not unable to validate provided access credentials. We did not provide any access credentials, right? We should provide access key and a secret key. That we did not do it. So let's create a access key and a secret key, and let's you know add that access key and secret key inside a playbook. So you can add access key and you can add a secret key like this, and you provide the access key value that you did download uh, earlier when you create an Iem user, right? And the secret key value here. But the storing those values inside a playbook is not secure, right? You're providing your a user authentication details inside a playbook, and this playbook will be stored in somewhere in source code repository, which is not like a secure. So what we could do is we could just configure those values on the controller. What is the controller here? The current Mac OS, the MacBook that I'm using. And you don't need to provide them every time that you run. Okay. So let's the command to configure AWS configure. Okay. And you should provide that access key. That access key will be replaced with this access key. Okay. And we will do the same thing with the secret key as well. So this is the access key. Next it will prompt you for secret key, and then let's go here, and this is the secret key. This is a secret key. Yes, history region is fine, and I don't need any default input. Now credentials has been configured to the controller. Let's go and run the playbook again. So the baseline key, spelling mistake, right? You see that? So response, invalid key pair. What key pair I used? Baseline key. But that seems like there was a typo in it, right? This is how you should troubleshoot. Okay, let's run the playbook again. And it will take a minute, and meanwhile, yeah, so the instance is ready. Let's go to our AWS, EC2 dashboard. If you look at here, you might see some instances creating or already created. Do you see that? So there is an instance created already. So what you could do with Ansible is you could take an AMI, or you could create EBS volume and attach EBS volume to this instance, or you could take a snapshot of your EBS volumes, you know. So you could do a lot more than you could create elastic interfaces, you could provision load balancers, you could create like a target groups. So you could automate most of the infrastructure using Ansible, or let's say that is the infrastructure automation. For example, configuration management, I don't have any tags, right? For example, I want to update the tags for this system for the billing purpose. You could do that using Ansible. So this is how Ansible works. You could work most of the stuff using Ansible. And Ansible by default, Ansible uses port 22, and up to Ansible 3, Python is a prerequisite. Ansible version 3, 2.9, if you are using 2.9 or 2.7 or 2.8, whatever. So you should have a Python installed. And if you are, trying to execute some raw, any of the raw command, you don't need any Ansible installed on your node. And by default, it is uses port 22, and you should provision your, access key and secret key. And you can provision your variables in the variable file, or you could provision your variables inside your playbook as well, the same way that we did here. Okay, so this is how you can work with Ansible. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna include this link as well in this video, and try to install this Ansible on EC2 instance. And if you don't know how to create an instance, and I already told you in my previous videos, launch an EC2 instance and have Ansible installed on it, and just explore with these values. And I'm going to include this link in the description. So if you guys have any doubts or comments, don't hesitate to comment below, and I can respond as soon as I get a chance. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please share this video with your friends, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Bye bye.